On this episode of On Cam Ready, how to show up online and across social media so you appear as an expert that the press can't resist. I'm Jamie Maglietta. We're talking with a branding photographer, Carley Storm. We're going to get to her in a second. This bonus episode is a little bit more casual. I really wanted to just talk to Carley about how to help you show up as your best self online. So we're going to get to that. We're also going to talk about how you can make the most of your photo shoots and your video shoots that you pay for, that you're like, I really want to use this, but I now need to know how to use this, right? So we'll talk to Carley just about how to maximize your investment when you are getting a photo shoot or having some videos done for your business. Just a reminder, I have a newsletter. And so I'm going to focus a lot of this conversation within my newsletter. It's called On Cam Ready. It's resources for you to help you look your best. It's a weekly newsletter. You can get that right now on Substack. Eventually it will be on my website, oncamready.com. So do check it out. In addition to this podcast and this YouTube video show, I really do focus on helping you shine online. So with my newsletter and also these conversations, I'm looking to elevate you. If you have ideas, please reach out. Email me, jamie@oncamready.com. I also am offering services. So if you need content creation, strategies or production, media training, you know who to go to. Come to On Cam Ready. And now let's get to our guest. We are talking to Carley Storm. She is a branding photographer. Carley joining us from Bloomberg, New Jersey, my old stomping ground. How are you, Carley?
Hey, nice to see you. This is an honor to be on here. Thank you.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Carley Storm Branding? And I think it's called Carley Storm Branding Co., right? Mm-hmm. So tell us more about what you offer and who you are.
So I'm a brand photographer, meaning I specialize in photo and I also do video for mostly small businesses, preferably female and usually service-based. And I love to get to know a business, mostly a person, the owner, in order to have them have authentic photos of themselves so they can show up online and tell their stories.
And it's all about their story, it seems. Like you're saying you want to get to know them. So is that what you're trying to get at? Like you're telling their story through visuals?
100%. Like my number one goal is for someone to walk away, first of all, saying they had a great time. Like I get notes like that was the best day ever. And even if they haven't seen their pictures yet, but I really need to befriend my clients and get them comfortable and really have their own personality shine and feel comfortable and whatever their personality is. Some people are more serious, some people are more serious or silly. And I want to make sure that that's really authentic in their photos. And then when they put them on their social media, on their website, their marketing materials, someone falls in love with them. And it really reflects how it is to work with the people that I'm working with.
Yeah. And we don't need to get into this aspect of it, but On Cam Ready, as I mentioned in the intro, I really do try to help people leverage their expertise online so that they can attract the press organically, right? It's all about showing up on social, providing value, and also tapping into the trends as well as whatever the news is discussing, right? To really step into the media ecosystem and have producers or journalists find you as a potential source. So in this conversation, I really want to help you all focus on how to look your best when you are having those photo shoots done or working with Carley on a video of your business, right? Like you really want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. So I love what you do in New Jersey, how you have everything all inclusive for people that come through. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about this type of services you offer, just so everyone knows off the top?
Yeah. So I have a unique offering. I have a photo studio. I've named it the Headshot and Brand Bar. And most of my clients lately have been using this space. It's 1,700 square feet, so I can adapt it to everyone's needs. And often I like to have photos taken in someone's own space, but sometimes their space isn't ready, pretty, have good light, all the things. I've had a wave of lawyers, for example, and recently they wanted to make sure they look more approachable, which is my, like, I love, it's an intimidating industry, but really they're humans, and you're going through something hard, probably if you need a lawyer, and they're humans at the end of the day, and they want to showcase that. So instead of doing a photo shoot at their probably fluorescent office with the stacks of green and red books behind them, I'm showing them off here with good lighting and in poses that will make them look more approachable, because it's authentic to them.
Yeah, and I like that you're bringing up the approachability, you know, because that's something that we tend to focus on with some of our, you know, television experts, where they're saying, you know, if you want to attract the press, you need to look approachable. You need to look like people would get along with you, because that's what is attractive to guest bookers for television. They do want people who are relatable. So I like that you're taking that approach, especially with lawyers. Recently, I've been working with more real estate agents down here in Atlanta, and I find the same thing. Like, they want to be approachable, and that's also for sales and building client relationships, right? As you're saying. So when you're working with people, what are some of the tips that you kind of share with them to help them better prepare for their shoots?
So this is my favorite question. So I joke, I have a Japanese aunt who's like my the source of wisdom, and she always says, with an accent I'm not going to try to replicate, preparation brings happiness. And it's so true, because I now have figured out, and whoever you hire as a brand photographer and video, they make you feel so prepared that when you walk in, you're just like ready to go and excited, versus like, oh, I forgot this. Oh, my, you know, I didn't do this. Oh, I should have got my hair and makeup done. You know, if you hire somebody with experience, really should have this whole ready to go, like hair and makeup team ready to go, props ready to go, shot list ready to go. And then all you have to do is show up and feel good. And then your authentic personality can shine through, versus the hot mess, unprepared version of yourself, which doesn't photograph well, doesn't feel good. You're not going to like your pictures. You talked about something before, and I feel like I wanted to get my megaphone, which I have in the prop closet, and yell to everyone that will listen. People, when they're starting to get publicity, I think everyone thinks that they are going to get a photographer just like show up their door in hair and makeup sent to their house to feature them. They don't. You need the pictures before. Should I get my megaphone? So I laugh. I actually just recently hired a publicist, and a lot of my clients are referring to her, or they're starting to get a publicist, and Juliana, and having a stack of photos ready to go, and your website looking legit, not, we're about to get featured on this podcast, let's hurry up and get our website ready, or I don't have a photo, can like somebody come over and take a quick picture of me? You know, it's not the same thing. So the same thing with that frazzled hot mess version of yourself, like if sending somebody over a media kit, or often they'll send my gallery of photos over to whoever's going to feature them, be like, here you go, use one of these, because they're not going to come to your house with a photographer. I've never heard of it. So I get like emergency photo things, like if I have a photo to them by tonight, I'll be featured in, you know, Forbes. I'm like, should have thought of that. So
yeah, way in advance. And you know, there's a few things that you brought up that I just want to highlight. You know, she's saying if you get booked on a, you know, television show or a podcast, like they're not really sending hair and makeup either. So you have to have all your look in advance prepped. And there's no better way to determine your look than preparing for a photo shoot and really seeing how you look in different colors, different lighting, and having that professional touch. That does help you establish your look. So you want to have that well in advance before you are going to be putting yourself out there on social, online as a commentator or a guest, because you want to have your look down. Another thing she mentioned that I've brought up before, but I want to make sure we really do focus on, is the shot sheet. So if you're someone who is trying to do this on your own, and you're like, okay, well, I really don't have I can't invest in that right now. I want to take my own photos, or I want to do this on my own. Like, yeah, you can, you know, you can try and do everything you can, but you want to make sure that they are of quality to print, quality for your website. You need lighting, you need makeup, you need it all. And it's really hard to do that alone, but you can do it. And the shot sheet is a great way to get yourself going. A shot sheet is something like that's laying out all the images. So all the images that you want to capture,
Mhm.
right? Or the video clips. So would you mind, Carly, just telling people more about the shot sheet? Because I have had people ask me about that so many times. Like, what's a shot sheet?
Mhm. So can I take it back a step to see how we get to the shot list that I make?
Sure.
So normally if you're working with a brand photographer, you should have a great combo and make sure you like each other. There are
Yeah.
a million other brand photographers around. Make sure you're vibing and you feel like it's going to be captured. Otherwise, like not a good fit. From there, personally, I take people down a journey. I like to see what kind of vibe I think that I am seeing, and then kind of feed it back and hear like vibe words and the energy that you want to portray, and see if I think it's like the same thing. Because if all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm super silly, and you haven't smiled one time on our call or whatever, for example, like I want to see if it's making sense. So it's really important to me to make sure I understand what the business is, who you're talking to,
Mhm.
what your goals are. Because like, let's say you're a 30-year-old woman that's working with geriatric people at a nursing home would be different than a 40-year-old, I don't know, lawyer that's working with divorces. Like you're a different person in this scenario, and your energy is different.
Mhm.
Your ideal client is different. So there are ways, like we're not going to use, a disco ball and high heels, possibly, if we were working in a nursing home, unless for some reason that's your vibe, but it doesn't feel like it works. To me, it has to feel like it's authentic. And at the end of the day, I want everyone to feel like their website is a reflection of themselves. So when they meet you and they show you, like, oh, I felt like I already knew you because I saw your pictures, and it's like completely on
Mhm.
brand. So my goal and like my favorite thing is, one, I said, like, everyone leave and be like, that was so fun. And then say, like, you really captured my personality.
Mhm.
And like, I don't care if you look pretty online. I don't care if your like hair is flawless. I want people to make money. I don't want, you know what I mean? That's the whole point of this. And I kind of like personally have divided my website photos, and I recommend people's website photos to be professional, especially video.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then content is a different ball game. If you're posting something or a promotion, an ad, really it could be made by yourself. I feel like who can get a professional photo shoot all the time? I mean, I feel like a big, have a big budget, but at the end
Mhm.
of the day, people also want to know you, right? So if you have in between photos of, B-roll of you just working, or just, I don't know, taking your dog for a walk, or whatever you want to post about, people will also connect you with that. But at the end of the day, when they go onto your website, I want to see like a clean, professional, online storefront that feels professional. Because at the end of the day, if you have more professional photos on your website, you look more credible. It looks more legit. It looks like you have more experience, even though it might not be true. But that's what people are seeing when they open up your storefront.
Yeah. And when you're, looking on social media, just for example, let's see if there's some tips we can give people on the types of
Mm-hmm.
images that you like to see when you're scrolling, that you try to capture, that maybe other people should consider, when they're trying to get their photos. I think this could be like a great clip for when I do
Okay.
cuts for social. So,
Yeah.
if whoever's listening, be sure to check out my Instagram. I have one at On Cam Ready, and I'm also at Jamie_the producer. Carly, where are you at on Instagram so people can find you?
I'm Carley.storm.branding.co. And I also am head shot brand bar for my studio that I rent out and use for my own
Great. So,
shoots.
guys, check us out online. And Carly, so why don't you provide some tips? Like, what tips do you have for people listening on what type of images seem to do well? Like,
Too
maybe
well.
get you stopping when you're scrolling,
Yeah.
that you can offer. Yeah.
So I feel like at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't know you or they were referred to you, they want to know what it's like to work with you. So personally, I've gotten the most engagement with personal things of my kids,
Hmm.
which I don't take kid photos, but I just am connecting. I work with a lot of moms, not only moms, but other women. But it seems to get like the most engagement and conversation going. Especially if there's a tone of motherhood in it, because at the end of the day, I personally started my own business because I wanted to be flexible to be able to pick up my kids and have time with them, or time away
Hmm.
from them too. So that to me is important. So that's something that I like to post about, because that's a connection point with other people. And funny enough, I get more engagement when I have behind the scenes footage of me working and taking pictures, even if you never see the final image on my Instagram, which is funny because it's just a cell phone behind, and it's just B-roll of me working and maybe standing on something and maybe being silly, sometimes like it's authentic, right? So it's a little peek to see what it is to work with me. I take my job seriously, but like not too seriously. It's very fun. And if that is somebody that somebody would want to work with, like that's important to you. But if somebody else would be like, she's so annoying, I don't want to work with her, that's the whole point of social media. We're trying to take a little glimpse, like, and I hope that they went on here and be like, Carley looks so annoying, not into her. And I never hear from these people. But what the golden point is when someone goes on my website, going on your website, on whatever social media, and they're like, you are the person that I want to work with, like obsessed. You look so much fun, because that's authentic to me, and that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. And like, using social media to really showcase who you are is a great way. And then to her point, trying to make sure that you have those professional images on your website. Yeah, of course, share them in your feeds. But when you do, you want to make sure that they're either in like a carousel or you're offering some advice. You're not just selling, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's just the way it is. That's just, we don't have to be social media experts to know, like, you really want to start leveraging your personality online in addition to your expertise. And she's even showing that by saying, like, when her engagement's up on behind the scenes videos, that's the same for me. If I'm offering tips on how to produce or how to take photos or how to put together social media reels, I get the most engagement on those too. So it's that behind the scenes value that she's talking about. So making sure that you have videos being shot even while you're getting your photos taken is a good idea. Do you guys do that too, where when people are there having their photos taken, they can also get some video shot? I
do. I don't recommend having my video team film that. I think it's personally a waste of budget. Normally there's no need for me.
Yeah, I get it when it comes to money. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, let's set up a tripod or phone in the corner and start filming stuff. So, and I also have my assistant that will film. But for me, I always say call on the pros when you're going to send out a ad or some kind of blast, and it really needs to showcase like your business fine-tuned, and that's a whole nother beast. But just showing up on camera and showing behind the scenes is a different thing than saying like, oh, open for business, or telling you about my business. Blasting on a promoted shoot is a different ad. So
yeah, no, I get that.
That's how I differentiate those two.
I think that's interesting, because I see a lot of people, like, they'll post all these behind the scenes of them having their photos taken, and I'm always like,
it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. It's fun, and it's annoying, and I like want to gag saying it, but people want to hire people that are busy and doing things, not just like I'm home waiting for for new business. So if you're getting a photo shoot and going here and doing this, you look busy, and it's like, I hate saying it out loud, but it's true, So, and people also really, at the end of the day, want to feel connected to a story and to other humans. So if, people come in, they'll tell me things that they remember seeing on my Instagram about my kids or where I was traveling. I'm like, you remember that? But we really remember stories.
Remember stories, and Carley's working on helping you with your brand and your story through photos and videos. So definitely check out her website. I'll make sure that there's a link to what Carley has going on below. Again, she's in New Jersey. Carley, before we wrap up, I would love for you to give like any other tips that you may have for people who are looking to just take advantage or make the most of their shoots.
I always say that location, props, outfits are what tell the story and also help give a bunch of variety. Make sure you ask your photographer if she is gonna get what you're gonna get out of the photo shoot. I personally deliver, it's a very debatable topic in my industry, but I personally deliver all the good photos in my shoot, because I'm like, just use them. And I have people come back because they knew that I banged out, 150, they got 150 photos, whatever it is, because they brought, a bunch of props or whatever they're working on. Every brand is so different, but they really most of my clients are like in a middle budget. So they can't maybe do a huge, full day photo shoot every 3 months, but they want to have somebody that they could depend on to make them a lot of content to last last as long as they can last. So
Yeah.
I always say my studio has a bunch of different backgrounds. So if you are doing a photo shoot, make sure, if I keep taking photos of me in this very specific shirt and this very specific background over and over and over again for a year, 2 years, like, all right, Carly, we're sick of looking at this photo.
Yeah, like a little variety.
Yeah. So change your shirt. Like if you have an undershirt, add a jacket, add something. And then, in my space specifically, I have a ton of props and furniture. I'm constantly moving furniture. So it makes it look like, even if I took this shirt and, posted it in a month and I'm sitting in a different hot pink chair in my space, it would look different. So make sure you're allowed to change during your photo shoot. I don't care what people do. I usually say either 3 or 4, 5 outfits just to have to narrow it down.
Yeah.
And a stylist helps pick out outfits to make sure you feel on camera ready. But posing too, if we're all, only taking pictures like the same way, smiling same way, also looks very redundant. So make sure the person you're working with, walks you through a process and tells you how you can move your body, how you can smile, look away, look here, look down, and provide variety within the same scene that you're shooting. I think that would be a really good question to ask a photographer. Like, show me an example, like how many images you got from me sitting at this desk. Could you overhead, over here, zoomed in onto my hands with a coffee cup, behind, over, you know what I mean? And then it doesn't look like the same picture you're using over and over again. Because at the end of the day, we got to be posting a few times a week. So
yeah. It's
we're going to
hard.
run out of photos. It's exhausting. So
it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So guys, make sure, this really quick, this conversation brings up my previous chat that I had with Christy Hunter. She's an influencer and photographer. I actually saw her in Nashville. She took some of my photos for my website. I'll have to come out to Bloomberg and see you because Bloomfield. Sorry.
That's okay.
I have to come out to Bloomfield and see you because when I'm out there. But yeah, I met with Christy Hunter in Nashville and it was wonderful. We had a great time. Guys, listen to that conversation if you're loving this. Before we do, I know I said we were wrapping, everybody. I'm really sorry, but I had one point that I just realized I didn't ask. Do you mind telling us why you have a publicist? Like, business owners are probably wondering.
Do I have a publicist?
Yeah. What brought you to that point in your career?
I always joke because it sounds very cool. Like
it does.
Talk to my publicist. So I'm at a point in my business. I've been in business for 7 years. I'm like growing. And then it's really fun. So working with people, getting interviewed for cool podcasts with cool people like you. It's like, it's fun. It's new experiences. I don't know if we would have found each other. I'm open to new possibilities. A lot of my clients are starting to get published. I get emails like, "Oh, your picture was just posted in Forbes or whatever," and I was like, "I want in on this. It's really fun." And I love having. I talk a lot about women. I work with guys too, but I love working with women. I want women to, if they're starting their own business, for it to be successful. And I want them to have the life that they want. Like some people want to work all the time, 100 hours a week, whatever. For me, and I feel like most people I'm attracting, they want flexibility. They want a stable, nice income that they were able to leave their corporate job or leave whatever they were doing and follow their dreams. And to me, if they're able to, if they need whatever they need, photos, video, anything, support, friendship. I have a networking group too. Just to get their dreams fulfilled is like the whole point of this.
I hear you. It sounds great. I love all this. Well, I'm glad you did it. I think we connected through her. So,
yeah. Thanks, Juliana.
It is something that can open many doors for you, especially if you're feeling like that is where you're at in your career. And I think anybody who's listening, if you're feeling the same way and you want more publicity and you want to be in front of the press, it's not a bad idea to start looking around for a publicist. You just have to be ready. And some of the points that we made in this conversation are points that you need to really check off. Like a good website, great photos, social media strategy. Things need to be in place. So thank you again for joining us, Carley, and offering so much great advice. And I really appreciate having this conversation.
It was my honor. Thank you, Jamie.
And again, remember to check out the description for links to all things that we've discussed. And on the next episode, I think I'm going to really focus on YouTube over the next few episodes, talking to people who have YouTube channels and what they're doing online. So if you have ideas or you want to pitch yourself, remember, email me, Jamie@oncamready.com. Bye, guys. See you online.